What will you be discussing in your lecture tonight in Whitley?
I've done 2 follow-up studies of youth activists, and I'm going to talk about those 2 studies. The first one was of all the accepted applicants to something that came to be known as the 1964 Mississippi Freedom Summer Project. 1,000 primarily white Northern college students went to Mississippi that summer to try to register black voters and generally kind of dramatized the continued denial of civil rights to African Americans in Mississippi. It proved to be a very dramatic summer. 4 of the volunteers were killed. You know, it was one of these major campaigns in the civil rights movement. And I tracked the volunteers down 20 years later to see what kind of impact the experience had on their lives, and had a transforming effect on their lives, not surprisingly. And then more recently, I did a follow-up study of all of the accepted applicants to Teach for America in years 3 through 8 of that program. And again, I was asked to do this research by the founder and still president of Teach for America, Wendy Kappa, a remarkable woman. And she was convinced that the TFA experience was transforming the lives of those, you know, their teachers. And I was skeptical that that would be the case, and so I agreed to do the study. And in fact, the results are not at all what she expected. And so the talk tonight will focus on these 2 studies, the very different effects, longer-term effects of the experience, and then we'll speculate a little bit about, well, what accounts for the very stark differences in the longer-term effects of these 2 experiences.
And what will be the result? What are the results that you have found?
Well, again, with the Freedom Summer volunteers, I had 2 groups of subjects. These are 2 groups who applied to go to Mississippi that summer. One went, the other did not go. So I had this kind of naturalistic experiment dropped on my lap. 2 groups looked very similar going into the summer. One has the experience in Mississippi, the other does not. Question is, what difference did it make in their lives? It totally changed their biographies. The 2 groups looked totally different after the summer. With Teach for America, I had 3 groups of subjects. These are all individuals who were offered a teaching position by Teach for America. So there are 3 groups. Graduates, they fulfill a 2-year teaching commitment. Dropouts, they start a teaching position, but they don't fulfill the 2-year commitment. And then in some ways, the most interesting group are non-matriculants. They're offered a position, but they don't take it. The interesting finding, central finding, is that, and again, the expectation was that the graduates should have had the biggest effect on the graduates in terms of subsequent civic participation, political and civic participation. That's the focus. In point of fact, it's the non-matriculants who are consistently ranked highest in terms of subsequent participation. In general, the Teach for America graduates rank lowest. So the findings, again, are very, very surprising and in stark contrast to the results from the Freedom Summer study. And so I'll spend a bit of time talking tonight about what I think the big differences are.